Well, hello. My name is Carlos Tercios. I'm a writer and investigative reporter for the Dallas Express, and today we have the ShamWow guy, who is running for Congress for one of the congressional districts here in the state of Texas. And so we're going to be asking him questions about his campaign, what made him want to run for office, and of course his background, since he has a very interesting background that a lot of people in the country know. So, with that being said, um, I will give you the floor, and of course, introduce yourself, and of course, who are you? Just in case no
Yeah,
one knows.
I'm hoping everybody knows me. I'm the ShamWow guy. You said your wife knows me before the show. So,
Yes,
hopefully, oh, well, she doesn't live in District 31. You live in Fort Worth. All right, we don't have to
yes,
say, but yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
luckily, probably because of the commercials I did in the 2000, late 2000s, I've become a household name. Ironically, I don't have as many followers. I never captured them when my peak was going on, so I never understood followers. I think I was either too based or too dumb to capture them. So they were like impersonators being me. I'm like, whatever. But then I realized, I kind of damaged my cachet in a sense because all these followers. But in some ways, it's good because when you have too many followers, I hate to say this, it kind of like mushes your brain because I know a lot of these comedians that were in my movie didn't have any followers, and like they used to call me. I'm like, yeah, what's up, what's up? And then now I've been calling them lately, and they're like all mush. They're like, they got this king complex going on. So I think they lose a little bit of themselves when they get too many followers, or maybe they don't have enough accountability. I think you have to have enough. I think you have to be strong to have followers. It's like. But anyway, I'm going sidetracking on that. But yeah. So anyway, that's how it started, and luckily I'm a household name, and hopefully that it seems that's helping me right now with the campaign. I got Time Magazine right after you, so that's kind of a big deal.
Okay. What made you what made you decide to get into politics and ultimately run for Congress?
Man, that's a crazy story. I literally decided to do this a month ago, around October 16th. So, okay, I did a skit called Wokebusters. I do a lot of skits. I write skits for movies, and I did a couple movies that are skit movies. So I'm good with skits. Actually, my commercials are, if you think about it, a bit of a skit. There's comedy in it, so that's what made me different. In retrospect, in the late 2000s, no one was really doing strong comedy with commercials. So I kind of brought, I was kind of innovative. I don't want to pat myself in the back, but I was sort of like a little bit of an innovator for that, and people like that style. So that's what I think put me on the map. And Yeah, so I did skits. So I did a skit called Wokebuster 9 months ago. I started it 9 months ago. And it's obviously it's a parody on Ghostbusters, the
Okay.
song. Have you seen the movie?
Yes.
Yeah, so on that I did the Ghostbusters parody, and I'm like, it's gonna be make fun of woke. It's kind of whatever, and I was gonna put it out September 9th. I sent an email to my graphics person. She sent me. She was about to send me the graphics. She never did. I think she went to sleep or something. And then the next day, Charlie Kirk passes, and I'm like, oh, that's kind. I'm not gonna put nothing out there. But wait a minute, I said, he is the woke buster. He's the original woke buster, and I just did the woke buster the day, and then he dies, and I was gonna put it out the day. I was like, what a weird coincidence. So, I mean, do you think that's weird that the coincidence in itself? I mean, to me, that's what just jogged my mind. Like, okay, whatever, but that's weird coincidence. So anyway, make a long story short, I'm just gonna put it out October 14th on YouTube, and then the next couple days, I see it trending on all the platforms, like millions of views. And I don't even have a lot of followers. Like I said, 20,000, 30,000 here and there on other platforms. And on YouTube, I have 200,000 followers. I'm like, oh, this is going to be big on YouTube. And no, it appears that YouTube and Google has put their thumb on the scale of um, of suppressing the video. And honestly, I think it's discrimination. It's like they're putting the it's like putting me in the back of the bus, like in the 40s if I was black. Like they're not showing my content that I spent a lot of time, and it's now connected. I'm tying that in, at least in my mind, to Charlie Kirk. So this is like a fight now. So that's kind of was the catalyst of why I brought this to. I became a politician congressman, because I'm going to bring a bill that was going to show the open source. I want the open source codes of YouTube to be transparent. So the algorithms, which is the ones that promote to you or to whoever they want to promote to, I want to see that. That's going to be the bill. Then I'm going to take that.
So, is this like your first time, being in politics? Have you been a voter throughout your life, or is this like the first time that you've actually gotten involved in politics and just policy issues and things that you are concerned about?
Yeah, so I've voted like since I've been voting like the last 20 years. Um, Republican, of course. Trump has excited. I've been influenced by Trump too because he's a salesman as well. I'm like, they say I'm a great salesman. Some say I'm like the GOAT salesman. I think I am. I'm like, in terms of like, if you compare, I mean, I think Rob Lowe's not bad, but in terms of like other strong salesmen, I think Trump and me are good salesmen. I mean, he's a negotiator. I'm more of a salesman. So, yeah. So, who's not better to go into office when you got to sell bills, right?
The next question I have is,
Mhm.
um, what would be your platform for your congressional run, like policy issues, things you want to get done if you were to get elected into Congress? Um,
Mhm.
what would be your top three issues?
Well, the top three, I think, for the district. I mean, I'm still making the move. I live in both the West in California and Texas, but one of the again, it's very focused on making people happy again, especially children, because I feel like they're not developing correctly. They're sort of like you see them all happy and beautiful and and all of a sudden, like a few years later, when they get into adolescence, they start becoming hateful and stuff like that. So I want uh, in the schools, I want cameras, video monitoring systems, so that parents can see what the teachers are teaching. So if you're going to make the kids hate America, we need to know about it. That's number one. And then of course, I want that to disseminate to other counties in the country because I believe District 31, we're all Texans, but we're all not, first and foremost Americans. So I'm hoping that's another policy that I like to get some of the policies, if it works, to be disseminated to others. So those two, and there's a lot of things I want to get to know the voters more. But I also want to, if you want another policy, just off, there's a lot of on the highways, that killing highway. There's a lot of deaths there, so I was going to do a bill just off called Killing Killeen. That city next to the Killing Highway. So I was going to Killing Killeen bill. So we're going to try to make the cars more self-driving cars. So I think that'll help cut down on the injuries. There's like almost 3 to 4 injuries per day, not and specifically in that location, but just in that area. So I want to work on that and some other policies as well.
Okay. Um, there's been a lot of debate in the country in regards to foreign policy, and that's something that congressional candidates they get asked is what is your foreign policy position or opinion when it comes to foreign policy? There's Republicans that say that they're critical of sending aid to Ukraine, but there's also been a growing movement within the Republican Party that's also been critical of not just sending aid to Ukraine and other countries, but also to the state of Israel. What is
Right.
your foreign policy position when it comes to sending foreign aid? Because that's one thing that President Trump ran on is
Hmm.
putting America first. That was his platform. And now there's a debate within the Republican Party as to, okay, well, how far does that go when it comes to foreign policy support for countries?
That's a great question. Okay, so look, I have a lot of motivation to help other countries because I feel like we're all on this planet. We're one big family in a sense. Obviously, they're all our brothers and sisters, and everybody has problems. But I think we have to help solve and resolve the infighting first. And that's why I feel wokeism is like all the other isms in terms of like suppressing people. The other isms meaning communism, Nazism, Maoism, and that they're making people unhappy. We're fighting, and then we can never help the other countries. So once we fix and resolve those issues with ourselves, and I think it could be done really quick, we need to help the other countries because there is a lot of nuances there. There's a lot of dictators. There's power. I don't want to get into what I used to be in something that used to like control me a lot. I used to be in a cult. I don't want to say what cult, but uh, there was a lot of I learned that power is like an ecstasy. It's like a drug, and obviously power corrupts, right? Absolute power corrupts, but why? And I believe it's a drug that someone in power has. And if you take that power away, they start like hating it, or they try to like put fear in you. So yeah, we need to solve. So there's a lot of power hungry people in the other world, and we need to fix that. And we need, just for example, Afghanistan, all those women in Afghanistan. I think we shouldn't have left Afghanistan personally, because to me, I have a daughter, but to me, I mean, they're not my daughter, but they're beings, and they're girls, and they should be treated just like my daughter is being treated, and they're not being treated good. And I understand that religion is, they believe in God, which is a good thing, but I don't think they're applying uh, humanity to those girls.
So, just for clarification, so your
Mhm.
position is, America needs to take care of the woke issues and the
Right.
internal issues first before it goes and helps any other countries. Is that your position,
Yeah, no, I
essentially?
mean, we can help. Of course, there's emergency situations going on. We need to do that. Again, I don't have all the details, but I know that we need to help other countries. We need to build, like right now, but I'm saying we can really put 100% in helping other countries as soon as we get the infighting resolved. And then once that's resolved, we can go in uh, immediately just like communicate, uh, have meetings, discuss things, but we can't do that when we're just infighting. And the dictators know if we're infighting, we're not going to be like united. So that'll never get solved unless we're united. Let's get united. Let's get rid of absurdities. Let's bring common sense back. That's why I'm coming with I think the mantra is, make America happy again. I know it's kind of a take on, make America great again, but, I think Trump probably used my line from Slap Chop. I think if you don't remember Slap Chop, I used to say, make America skinny again, one slap at a time. So maybe Trump transformed it to make America great again. And then, so maybe, I'm not saying it was me. I probably got it from someone else, but so maybe I'm going to use that, make America happy again. We'll see. Make America families wholesome again. How about that one? What do you like?
When it when it comes to you brought up the issue of
Yeah.
family right now.
Right.
Um, there's been a lot of conversation when it comes to home ownership, and a lot of
Right.
young Americans are struggling to buy homes. The average median household income is $78,000, but yet the average price tag for a home is around $420,000. And so there's a growing population of young Americans between the ages of 18 and 29 that are not buying homes. They're just renting apartments, and you're
Mhm.
seeing apartment complexes grow everywhere. And the essence of the American dream was essentially to own your own property, to own your own land, to own your own home, and that ultimately translates into creating your own family, and more families equals, a healthy society. But you're seeing the reverse of that. So, do
Mm.
you have any opinions when it comes to, helping the nuclear family, but most importantly, helping Americans get home ownership somehow?
Yeah, I mean, I live in Los Angeles right now, and it's literally like a draconian place here. Like 3 bedroom houses like in Santa Monica is like $3 million. Like no one can buy that. Obviously, it's probably, I don't think anybody can afford it. I think it's just being maybe handed down to other their family members. I just don't know even how. Sometimes I look around, I like, how do these people afford these homes, or they just have to live in a 1 bedroom house for you know like 3,000 a month or 4,000 a month. That's insane. So, and then of course the city's terrible, homeless. So I'm almost kind of here. I'm like using it as an experiment, or just like observing how crazy this is, to make sure this never happens to anybody else in the country. But yeah, so I have a lot of insight from living here. That's, in a way, it's good. I'm still might like go back and forth, because it's kind of good to see how insane this is, and make sure it doesn't happen again, and where it stems from. So yeah, I mean, the home prices are insane. It's insane, I think, because the government here in California funds uh, even the poor people. Um, their two bedrooms are like 3 grand, but they're not paying it. The government's paying it, so that keeps the rent high. There's a lot of little nuances that I have to make that I can't really explain in detail right now. But yeah, we can do a follow up and talk about it. But yeah, I'm going to work on that and make sure in Texas. I mean, it's a lot better in Texas, but it still needs a lot of work. So I'm going to probably create a bill so we can all afford good homes and good houses. I mean, I live in a condo right now. To be honest, it's like I have a 2 bedroom apartment. It's like 6 grand. It's like ludicrous, right? But maybe I'll get out of here a little faster. But it's kind of nice to observe what's going on.
When it comes to H1B visas, that's been a debate happening in the country right now.
Hmm.
Some argue that it's useful for bringing talent, but others are
Hmm.
arguing that it's taking away American jobs,
Hmm.
and that talent really should be created here in the United States. What
Right.
is your opinion when it comes to H1B visas? Are you for it? Are you against it? What's your position?
I haven't, unfortunately, I'm not, I just signed up to be a candidate, but I know about it. I think there is some uh, pros and cons on both sides. I think, yeah, I think we need to discuss it and like collaborate about it. And I think it should be available, especially if someone has some talents. And luckily I'm an immigrant, so luckily I came in. And but I would H1. How much would they pay? I don't even know how much they pay. Like a couple million to get in, or it's
Well, I
just
mean,
oh, they don't even pay. Oh, that's the other law. An
it's to
H1
give
visa
them
is
jobs,
right.
to legal
Right, from like
immigrants.
India and everything. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
70% is from India.
Yeah, I guess in general, I haven't uh, gone dove into it too much, but in general, I think yeah, we have, like I said, we have to fix our country first. Let's get our jobs here first. Let's get a little bit more successful, and then I think we can go help and bring people in from India, from China, from down, South America. Everybody should come in, but on a gradual. And I think it's important to bring people who can assimilate and be productive citizens for sure, and maybe some abilities that they have maybe that we need more of. Like for example, I know like I need a few things that I can't even find sometimes in terms of occupation. So there's areas that we need to work on. But yeah, so maybe a combination. But first, let's go help American jobs first. That's kind of my belief.
Okay. What is your opinion on President Trump's work so far for the first 11 months since he took office in January? Like, do you think he's done a good job? Do you think he's done a bad job? Do you think he's done an okay job? What's your opinion?
I think he's like the best president ever been. I mean, he's done like he has a lot of people against him in terms of people take things out of context. I think he's tough though. You're not gonna like someone that's gonna clean house. If you have roaches in your carpet, and when he cleaned house, he didn't understand. When he cleaned the swamp, it wasn't in the swamp. It was in the house. It was in the roofs. It was everywhere. So it's going to come attack him. So he's going to, it's amazing what he's going through. So I'm 100% supporting him. Uh, I don't, I don't even know one thing I can think of that he's done wrong. I just look at statistics. I don't even take what he's from my neighborhood in Brooklyn. I think he's in Queens. In fact, some of my relatives are in the housing business, and they know him. But I think he's done a great job, and I don't right now. I can't off the top of my head. I don't think I remember anything recently that he's done that's incorrect in terms of like the wars that are going on, in terms of the economy. Um, and there's going to be things there's going to be ebbs and flows. So you're going to have to, as the trend. When trends go, it's like up and down. So you can always pinpoint, hey, it went down here. He did something wrong there. But what's great about him, he'll shift or pivot, and he'll make some adjustments to make things better.
What makes you a better candidate than the current incumbent right now, John Carter, that represents the district that you're running for?
Hmm.
Um, what are your qualities? Like, just
Hmm.
for the audience, I mean, what makes you a better candidate than him?
Well, look, I mean, he's probably pretty good. I mean, he's been around for 20 years. I mean, they voted him in like what, or 10 times. So he's I think he's done some good things. I've looked at him. I really can't bash him. If anything, I can probably praise in some of the things he's done. But in terms of his age, I'm 61. Luckily, I think I look pretty good at 61. But I'm sometimes tired, and I have one daughter. It's kind of, and I fly around sometimes, but I get a little. It's a little daunting just to, like, not daunting, but it's just like tiresome to and to do a lot of work. And I think maybe, I don't know how he does it at 84. Is he going to be able to do it? Maybe. But don't you want an exciting politician? You don't want a boring politician. I'm the exciting, right? When I say that with the slap chop. So yes, get me. I'm the exciting. That's the only thing I can say. I'm not saying he's boring, but I'm going to be exciting if you see me every day.
Okay. And you brought up, you actually mentioned that, you're an immigrant. Um,
Hmm.
which country and what's the story behind that?
Well, I'm from Israel. I came here when I was 5. I grew up in Brooklyn. Uh, and then from around 17 or 18, I came to LA. And then I stayed here most of my life and became successful. Obviously, there was a lot of living in LA is a very interesting place. There's a lot of, I didn't know what it was called then, but there was a lot of woke people, but you don't know they're woke. They're just very, like, they don't want you around, or they think that you're, because I'm a little bit, like, a little crude and with my humor. So, and Hollywood didn't like my humor, so they sort of suppressed it. And it's interesting. I did a movie called Underground Comedy Movie. It's a skit movie, but it's very risque. If you got, in retrospect, in 1996 when I made it, they weren't doing that kind of comedy. Like I had semen in the movie. Dick Man fights lesbians. I had supermodels taking a dump. I had Miss America bag lady pageant. So it's very risque comedy, and I thought, oh, it's going to be groundbreaking. But Hollywood again put their finger on the scale and made sure, like, the critics bashed it. Worst movie ever made. Blah 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 blah. So nobody came to see it, and that forced me to become. So what I did, I took my trailer, I put an 800 number on it, and put it on Comedy Central, and and then from there I became the ShamWow guy. So I shifted from, like, Hollywood making films to becoming the ShamWow guy. So now it feels like a little bit of deja vu. So now I'm shifting from making skits on YouTube to now becoming the politician, and hopefully I'll be a great politicians, like I was with being the salesman on TV that you know me from.
All right. And since, we're discussing, your immigrant background,
Right.
um, have you had any faith? Like, what's your, religious affiliation? Has
Right.
faith played a role in your life? Because I know many candidates, when they run for office, they bring up faith, how it's played a role in their lives, or maybe has not.
Oh,
But
yeah. I mean, that word faith has a lot of connotations. I would say, yes, 100%. Uh, faith. I would say more. So I want to say even praying. I would say more like communication. Like, I feel like I have some a line with some, higher powers or angels, or just, I believe in God, of course, and I get ideas. I get a lot of things have motivated me, and it has to do. Okay, let's use faith, but it's motivated me to become who I am, and I'm on this path. And it seems that someone above wants me to be on this path, because it seems like everything I go always brings me to this path, and I see what I have to do, and I think I'm going to be able to do it.
okay.
And yeah, I believe
Um,
in God.
okay. Critics have, you had an incident back in 2009.
Hmm.
It made it all over the media. Yeah, I
Hmm.
think the charges were dismissed, if I'm not mistaken.
Hmm.
What happened in Miami? Do you want to discuss a little bit about that story, since some people brought it up online? I just want to give you the
Yeah, I mean,
opportunity
there
to
was an
discuss that.
altercation. I was, like I said, 10 days ago, with where I was going on the wrong path, partying. I mean, I was just 20 years ago, and I was just, like, going down the wrong road. I think that night I was just spending 100 grand on, because I had a lot of money from ShamWow, and I wasn't a good partier. Let's put it this way. and someone above wanted to knock me out and say, "Look, you're not going down that road, and you're going down this." And that's when I had the epiphany. Okay, I'm not doing that. And then in some ways, sometimes I used to like, I regret that, I regret that, but in some ways, it put me in the right path, and that's why I'm here.
All righty. Um, and I guess the last question is, do you have any other issues that maybe might be interesting? Because I know candidates when they run for Congress, they talk about the Second Amendment. They talk about protecting the unborn, like pro-life causes, Second Amendment causes,
Hmm.
taxes, things like that. Do you have any
Hmm.
other issues that maybe are in your mind?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I'm generally like a conservative in terms of like the word. I think the word conservative is bad for young kids. They don't get that. It's like it's a good thing to be conservative because you like lower taxes. You're you pray, you believe in God. You pray. Uh, but I think ultimately, First Amendment is what I'm really fighting for. Freedom of speech. I believe that when you suppress one speech and you only promote another, like what Google and YouTube are doing, is discrimination, like the and what all the isms have been doing always. It's like you can't talk because we don't like what you say, but you can talk. You like the color blue, so you're going to have all the benefits. You like the color red, you're going to have all the crap, and we're going to suppress you and torture you and cancel you and censor you. So those three little things they do: censor, cancel, and torture, death. Those are the three things that all the isms do down the eons. And if you believe in, like, maybe you've been around in the past, which I do, and I'm a rebellious person. I probably rebelled against a lot of isms in the past. So it's time to now go after them and also codify it so it never happens again, because it's an existential threat. And that's why I believe Google and YouTube is an existential threat. So we're going to start in District 9, and hopefully, and we're all Texans in District 9, and we're going to all be, but number one, we're Americans. And I want to apply that bill to make sure that all the codes and the algorithms are open source.
Okay, and one of the last questions:
Yeah.
how would you describe yourself politically? Because I know in the
Hmm.
Republican Party or on the right,
Yeah.
you have people that call themselves moderate. You have people that call themselves America First,
Hmm.
conservatives, as you see with Tucker and Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Hmm.
You do have a libertarian faction, as you see with Thomas Massey. So, how
Right.
would you describe your political leanings yourself?
Well, there's a lot of things I can say. I mean, I'm not a polished politician, but I think that's what's refreshing. I'm just going to be myself. The thing is, I think based on what I've done before and what I can do now, I'm an innovative person. I come up with ideas, and also I think outside the box. So I think outside the box. So you can say I'm an outside the box kind of politician. Is that a conservative, right, left, media? I mean, I'm like, uh, I would say I'm just thinking for myself as a Republican, but I do think outside the box. And when I think of a great idea, I want to go with it. And especially if I see that there's some divine intervention that's giving me like some like signals. I'm like this thing with Charlie Kirk and the Wokebusters skit, like at the same time, and then like the suppression that it's been going through. So that's going to be my motivation and my that. But there's other things we didn't dive into, but maybe we can do that another time.
And the other question I have, since
Hmm.
you brought up Charlie Kirk,
Right.
the assassination of Charlie Kirk
Right.
happened in early September. It
Hmm.
shocked not just America, but it shocked the whole world,
Right.
and it created a conversation of polarization in the country, and especially some people on the right have mentioned that there's left-wing violence happening. There was a shooting at a Catholic school in Minnesota where children died, and it was perpetuated by a person that identified themselves as transgender.
Hmm.
And then, of course, the shooter that assassinated Charlie Kirk,
Hmm.
the FBI has reported that he had a transgender lover, and
Hmm.
there's been a conversation about how there's been a rise in left wing attacks, left wing
Hmm.
violence, especially
Right.
against ICE facilities in the United States. Are you concerned about the increase in violence, especially kind of from the left, but just violence in general as
Yeah, I
well.
mean, like
Uh,
I said, I mean, I know the four, like I didn't get, I know all the four, five pillars that are creating this hate, and I'm gonna have a plan. I gave you one of the pillars, that's gonna destroy it. It's just a hate, right? I'm not destroying people or left, but we got to get rid of the hate. I'd say, look, I don't like being in this business of hate myself because there's gonna be hate towards me just because I'm exposing the wokeism. Because again, that's connected to the power, right? And when you lose, and the power, they don't want to lose the power because they that's their drug. But there are people who believe in their cause on the left, and they're gonna hate, and they have to really self-reflect. And that's why I think the Wokebuster skit really helps them look at it, and that's why they want to suppress it so much because visual comedy desensitizes hate. And they got to know the reason that they're in hate is because they have some false information. They probably have some true information, right? Like, for example, kind and inclusive is a great way to like keep you. It's what they're going by. But there's also tough love. All right, so we can be kind to someone who wants to think they're a girl. I'll even call him his girl name. But when you want to go into the girl's bathroom, I'm gonna have to give you some tough love and say, dude, you can't go in there. You're a guy, all right? I can't pretend. I can pretend you're a girl with me and you, as if I'll be your buddy. But if you're gonna try to go in a girl's bathroom, no, you're a guy, dude. All right. And like I have a daughter. If you want to tell my daughter you're a girl, no. I mean, she's a, little kids see things the way like a real spirit. They're like more spiritual than even us, right? So they see things for what they are. So they see a guy in a girl's dress. I'm not gonna gaslight them and say, oh yeah, no, it's a girl. I mean, they don't have that nuance. I'm gonna pretend to be kind to this guy, but the kids, you got to leave the kids out of it, and that's kind of one of my mottos too, and one of my will be one of the policies. And I know they're doing that now, but we need to really enforce it and also get a spine and a lot of these wokeisms to keep the kids down, and they don't want to stand up for anything because of the fear. There's a lot of things, but it's gonna be. I'm gonna simplify it hopefully, and get a lot of people thinking what I'm saying anyway. Just maybe I'm just a little more aggressive because I don't know. I'm the ShamWow guy.
yeah, I mean, one of the videos that was posted on
Hmm.
Twitter had you say, we're gonna stop chopping the nuts of kids, and we're gonna stop
Oh,
all
right.
this woke stuff. And it went kind of viral on Twitter, and
Oh
some
yeah,
people were like,
yeah.
"Man, that's hilarious." Um,
Hmm.
so that's going
Honestly.
to be one of your policy positions is tackling the transgender um, issue,
Hmm.
that's been infiltrating schools. It's been going
Hmm.
after innocent children. There's detransitioners that talk about
Hmm.
how big pharma
Hmm.
and the pharmaceutical industry and the doctors and the consulting firms, they pretty much just brainwash these minors that are 18, 17, 15, and saying that, well, even though you're a boy, you're technically a girl because you think that way.
Hmm.
And then once they do the surgeries, they get irreversible damage to their bodies.
Hmm.
Um, what ideas do you have when it comes to addressing uh, the harm that's being done against kids in the name of transgenderism?
Well, I think that's a great question, by the way. Look, I mean, I live in LA. I know LGBTQ. I have some friends who are LGBTQ, and I just did Gays Against Groomers, a podcast that's on Gays Against Groomers. So, look, most gays understand they shouldn't be going after the kids because the kids don't need to look. When I was a kid, I didn't even know about sex till 11, and that's good because I want to concentrate on having a social life, having academics, playing sports, God. It's like I go to, environment, playing, go to camp. I don't want to be fixated on sex at that. Like if you would have told me, like, if you want to be fixated on sex, oh, this feels good. We don't need that. And I think transgender is a ruse to get the kids early by saying you might be a boy or girl for the LGBT causes. So I think that stems from that. I mean, it's a little deep. I don't want to get too deep in that, but that's another thing I'm going to work on because, yeah, it's a bit of an insidious thing what they're doing. Because listen, I was in a cult, like I told you. I would love to go when I was in a cult to go into the kids' schools and go, hey, check this out, because they're very impressionable, right? So yeah, so there's a lot there, and we need to get some spine and give them some tough love and say, look, you want to do this, you can do all this, you can you can be gay, and I think America is very pro-gay, but you can't hit the kids with it because, I mean, target the kids because that's the foundation. They got to grow up with good foundation, good basics, and then they can understand homosexuality later. And even if you want to talk about transsexual, but I think the transsexual is a ruse with a lot of misinformation to get these kids confused. And I can give you more information about that, but yeah, so later we can discuss it on another podcast.
Yeah. Um, just a quick curiosity question since you
Hmm.
brought it up several
Okay.
times.
Yeah.
You brought it up several times. You mentioned that you're in a cult. Do you
Hmm.
just want to briefly mention like what
Mm.
was that or no?
No, because the cult is it's already on the decline, and it's like I actually got a lot of good things out of it in the beginning. So, but I don't have a war with them, so I'm fine with it. But I just learned a lot, so I thought maybe I can use some of the things I've learned and give me a lot of insight to what's going on now. And so yeah, so that's what I'm about.
Okay.
But
All
yeah, I
right.
mean, it was really good meeting you. I really enjoyed this podcast.
Yeah. Any last comments that you just want to provide?
No, I mean, you're the first Texas news outlet that reached out to me, and hopefully we can work together, and I can give you more insight on some of the things because I just touched the surface. But yeah, let's work together maybe in the future, and maybe we can meet. And at least I'm going to get a ShamWow for your wife. I know you said she's a fan.
Yeah. So well, I appreciate your time. Of course, answering the questions. And we'll stay
Did
in
I
touch.
mention about
And
this? I told you about the thoughtist, right? Don't be a thoughtist.
no, you didn't mention about that.
Because I'm wearing, yeah, because I just a little quick. So racism is when you hate someone because they're different, right? Different skin color. So thoughtism or thoughtist is a word I coined, and that's someone when you hate someone for the color of their skin. Sorry, their thought. So one is you hate someone for the color of their skin. One is you hate someone for the color of their thought. So thoughtists are wokeists. So that's kind of like. So I'm
Okay.
saying don't be a thoughtist. So
Okay.
that's yeah.
All right. How long have you been living in Texas? Or
That's the month.
just a month?
Yep.
Okay.
And hopefully,
All right.
I can still. I'll be a resident there, but I'll probably just come here just to like and just to like see what's going on because it's always
Okay.
good to rub elbows with the bad guys, not the bad guys, but the guys who are a little bit brainwashed in a sense.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Well, I appreciate your time. I'll let you know when we publish the article and when we post the video.
Yeah.
But we'll stay in touch and I appreciate your time. Appreciate
Thank
this.
you, sir. I appreciate your service. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. God
Take
bless.
care. Bye bye.
Bye.